Shalom, on the start of souls by giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba'ashem Kadash. Double honors the apostles of Great Millstone, and honors you brothers doing the work of the Most High in truth and in sincerity. Yahweh is the real name of whom the world ignorantly calls God, Jehovah or Yahweh. His real name is Yahweh. His son's true name is Yahweh Shai, and when we pray Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua, Ba meaning in, Ha meaning that, and Sham meaning names Yahweh, in the name of Yahweh Shai. This is inspired by this clip here. This is from Netanyahu, basically quoting the scriptures again, right? Trying to appease that American Christian, ideology. I saw basically someone ask a couple of weeks ago, it's like, what is it with basically Jake, right? And their support for these Amalekites, right? And then that's one of the responses was these Jake basically they read the scriptures, right, and they see Israel, and then they look at these guys and then think that they're and equate the two, right, not knowing that these Amalekites have basically stolen our identity. Right, but when I saw this one, which that's Ecclesiastes 3, I'll read in a second. Right, it was just like, bro, there are scriptures that pertain to you, and there's scriptures, that don't. Now, this is a true saying. This is a time of war. He wasn't lying there. Okay, that is of a truth. Right, but you stick to the scriptures that concern you. Right, which we're gonna get them, but we're gonna lead up to it. So, as promised, right, it says Ecclesiastes 3 from the top, says to everything there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven, right? And then it lists some times, right? And then what he quoted was down, where is it? Down here, right? It says a time to love and a time to hate, a time of war and a time of peace, right? And we are not in a time of peace whatsoever, right? This is a time of war. It's a time of great death. Right, the Lord is about to bring great death upon this world, man. Right, which is why we do what we do so that we can, Lord willing, be shielded from what is about to happen. Right, and that's it. Okay, so and another one before we get into it. This is Jeremiah 50:16. But unto the wicked the Most High saith, What hast thou to do to declare my statutes, or that thou shouldest take my covenant in thy mouth? Right? Basically, what are you doing holding these scriptures, trying to pretend like you're people of the scriptures? Right? It goes on to say, seeing thou hatest instruction, and casteth my words behind thee. Okay, this is when thou sawest a thief, then thou consentest with him, and hast been partakers with adulterers. Right, so basically, casteth the words of the Lord behind. So when this Edomite, he imagine this, a scene where you get an individual, he picks up a note and he just scrunches it up and throws it behind. That's what this Edomite does with these scriptures, right? Which is why for instance, the IDF has women. Right, that's contrary to the laws of the scriptures, right? It has people that aren't fit. Everyone, I believe, in Israel, more or less, has to, battle. I think only like the super orthodox ones, and even then, I'm not entirely sure. But basically, the majority of the population. But once again, that's contrary, to our laws. Okay, that is contrary to our laws, because the scriptures even talk about, like, if someone is afraid, right? If someone is afraid, you don't bring them to war, right? That's going to bring problems, okay? So let's read this, right? Because this is what is happening. This is what is playing out before our eyes, right? This is Jeremiah 49 from 20. As therefore hear the counsel of Yahweh that he hath taken against Edom, and his purpose that he hath purpose against the inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them. Right? So this is an example of that. Whether it's the final example, we'll wait and see. Right? But we know that these Amalekites are going to do something that is going to bring America into this greater war. Okay? And it certainly looks like this is what's playing out. You got all the world's armies, right, taking their militaries into that region. Okay, so we'll see how this all plays out, right? But this is certainly an example. What we're witnessing is certainly an example of that, right? But we know that this is gonna play out and eventually lead to this Third World War. Okay, and then talking of that, right, is what's happening. This is Joel 3:9. Proclaim ye this among the Gentiles. Prepare war. Wake up the mighty men. Let all the men of war draw near. Let them come up. And like I said, you're basically seeing all of the world's armies gathering in that region. Okay, I think it's like the greatest amassing of ships basically since the Second World War, more or less, or maybe Cold War, something like that. But for a very, very long time, there ain't been that many warships in that region. Right. So hey, the Lord is working. Right. It says, beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears, i.e. divest. I don't believe divest is the word I want, but basically move from funding your agriculture to funding your military. And then you're basically seeing a lot of Americans be like, wait there. Here it is. You got a whole load of us suffering out here through. But you've got all of these billions to spend on war. It says, assemble yourselves and come, all ye heathen, and gather yourself together round about, and thither cause thy mighty ones to come down, O Yahweh. Right? It says, let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Yahweh Shaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. And I said, we're witnessing this right now. Right? We're witnessing this right now. So this is beautiful times, right? Put you in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe. Come, get you down, for the press is full. The fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes in the valley of decision, for the day of Yahweh is near in the valley of decision. Okay, so when this happens for real, when these armies are properly stationed one against another, because right now it's like, oh, we could go to it could be peace, which the scriptures speak about that, right? Scriptures speak about when they shall say peace and safety, right? People are feeling that things could potentially get better, right? They think that, oh, if we just call for a ceasefire, maybe things will get better, right? But in that day when it's like, no, we're going to war, right? You're going to have all of these different heathens all in that land, man, right? And what's eventually going to happen? They go and shoot at each other, right? And there's loads of precepts that go into this nuclear war, right? And then not only that, you're also going to have Yahweh Shai, right? And the angels, they're going to be getting busy too. So Isaiah 66:15 and 16. So for behold, Yahweh will come with fire, right? And with his chariots like a whirlwind, right? He's going to send his son, Yahweh Shai, to achieve this, right? To render his anger with fury and his rebuke with flames of fire, right? For by fire and by his sword will Yahweh plead with all flesh. And that word there, plead, goes into judge. And the slain of Yahweh shall be many. So those chariots are going to be getting busy, right? What the so-called white man calls UFOs. You can read the account in Second Ezra, the 13th chapter, and it goes into this, final war, right? But then, when the dust settles, this is what Netanyahu and all of these Edomites and Amalekites should really be meditating on, right? The fact that they're going into captivity, right? And on the side of Esau's going to be completely done away with, right? And the Lord is going to allow us to execute judgment upon them, right? But I'm getting this one first because Netanyahu, he's one of the kings of the world right now, right? It's Psalms 149:6. Let the high praise of the Most High be in their mouth and a two-edged sword in their hand, to execute vengeance upon the heathen and punishments upon the people, to bind their kings with chains and their nobles with fetters of iron. And that's literally, we're going to have these, the kings of this world in chains. Right? Jacob Rothschild is going to be in chains. David Rothschild is going to be in chains. The Rockefellers, the DuPonts, the Gettys, right? All of them, they're going to be in chains. Okay? Because to execute upon them the judgment written, this honor have all his saints. And yeah, it's an honor. The Lord is going to allow us to have, the necks of our enemies. Okay? In the kingdom, that is, right? The Lord is going to allow us to have our enemies in subjugation, right? It says Ezekiel 25:12, thus saith the Lord power, and meditate on this, right? These are the scriptures that you should be talking about, Okay, it says, thus saith the Lord power, because that Edom hath dealt against the house of Judah by taking vengeance, and hath greatly offended and revenged himself upon them. Right. So don't try and be like, oh, we don't know why this is happening, etc., etc., etc. Right. This is unfair. No, 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 no. Right. You effed up, and then now you're gonna have to pay. All right, simples. All right, it says, therefore, thus saith the Lord power, and I will also stretch out my hand upon Edom, and will cut off man and beast from it, and I'll make it desolate from Teman, and they of Dedan shall fall by the sword, and I will lay my vengeance upon Edom by the hand of my people Israel, and shall do in Edom according to mine anger and according to my fury, and they shall know my vengeance, saith the Lord power. Okay, so meditate on that you're gonna have read that, right? You're gonna have, an Israelite as your master, man. You're gonna do exactly what he says and when he says it. Okay, let me grab this first and I'll end with Deuteronomy, right? So Obadiah 1:18, and the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble, and he shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it. Right? So meditate on the day and read the scriptures on the day that the Edomites will be all done away with. Right? Because you're one of them. Right? And lastly, we'll finish with Deuteronomy 25 from 17, right? So remember what Amalek did unto thee by the way, when you were come forth out of Egypt, how he met thee by the way, and smote the hindmost of thee, even all that were feeble behind thee, when thou wast faint and weary, and he feared not the Most High. Therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies, because there's a rest coming. This is just the captivity, right? And until we reach the kingdom, it's going to be it's going to be what you call it, it's going to be a tough time into the kingdom, right? Acts 14:22, right? But we're going to get a rest from it, right? It says so it says, therefore it shall be, when Yahweh thy power hath given thee rest from all thine enemies round about, in the land which Yahweh thy power giveth thee for an inheritance to possess it, that thou shalt blot out the remembrance of Amalek from under heaven. Thou shalt not forget it. Okay? So, yeah, man, read those precepts, right? As always, Lord's will, that was edifying. Until next time we say, Shalom.